Being a scout leader is not just about wearing a fancy uniform with a whole bunch of patches. No, there's a lot more to it. Hey, ScouterStan, let's talk about being an incredible leader. Now, this can be for adults and youth. So both will be watching this video. So there's a lot more to it than just wearing a fancy uniform. There's training, there's mentoring, there's coaching, there's all kinds of things that go along with that. Understanding your part of being a leader within your unit, whether it be a pack, a troop, a crew, a ship, your part of that leadership. That's the important element there. And you need all of the training that goes with that position. Leaders can be even more than that. They can be behind the scenes. They too will need training, mentoring by others who know the ropes of whatever position that might be. These are things that happen for every single unit. It's important to understand you can't do everything. You have to let other people lead. You are a servant leader. That's a critical role. Find out more about what it is in the Order of the Arrow that they talk about servant leadership. So critical to your success. All leaders are bound by the Scout Oath and Law. All parents, all adults that are at a meeting, when the sign goes up, they need to do it too, okay? They need to do the Pledge of Allegiance. They need to be off their cell phone, okay? They need to be a participant if they're going to be in the meeting. If they're going to sit in the back, they're in the meeting. So they have to do the Scout Oath and Scout Law. It's important. All parents should. That's the critical role, critical example of leadership that's part of it. Now, in that, the Scout Oath and Law it's the core values of scouting. It's very important. Check out the video. It talks a little bit more about it in detail. Always remember that a leader is developed, mentored, and trained over time. There's no such thing as a natural born leader. This is true throughout the world. It's very important that people understand that it is a task that they take on. And then they get trained and they go through the mentoring. They have people that are there to help them through the process of learning all about their leadership. Communication is a critical skill for any leader. It's more important to be a listener, be able to listen to scouts, be able to listen to parents, be able to listen to other leaders within your unit. Active listening prevents problems, and that is a huge part of communications. Being able to hear the information, being able to visually impact that information. Super critical skill. And when we are communicating, it's important to be positive. Thinking positive, trying to see a better solution. That is very critical to any kind of communication as a leader. It's important to give clear and very age-appropriate guidance towards a solution when you are communicating. Being positive is absolutely required. Always be ready for feedback. Feedback is a gift. And a lot of times you never get anything. You never get a word back. It's important to ask for it. Make sure that If you have feedback that you want to talk about on this channel, you do it in the comments. That is wonderful. I appreciate anything you have to add to that is wonderful. Thank you. Avoid doing everything yourself. You can't juggle your entire troop. You can't juggle everything in your committee. You can't juggle all of these things. It's important that you delegate. You ask people that are not doing a task want to be asked. They want to be included. And your job as management is to check up on that. Not do it, not minute manage it, micromanage and all that stuff. You want to make sure that you check up on them and give them time to do that task. It might take them more time than you thought. It might take them less. So it's important to delegate. Don't be afraid of using the EDGE method. That is the process of teaching a new skill. Do it. EDGE method is so important. It's actually used on Eagle projects, okay? When they're putting something together, the EDGE method is often mentioned on how to teach people who don't know the skill how to do the skill. EDGE method, if you don't know about it, please look into the handbook. It is very much a skill that leaders need to really have. Plan with a purpose. This is very important. You have to set up goals. You have to plan out your meeting. You have to plan out what you're going to do at the camporee. These are things that you, as a leader, have to plan. If you don't plan your meeting is going to plan you. You're going to be in the back end of it. So definitely make sure you make a plan. Now, we know in scouting, not all plans, we have to be flexible. We have to be able to move in the direction that the plan goes. Sometimes it's important to have that flexibility built into your plan. Always leave room in your plan for adventure and fun and fellowship. You want to make sure that those are huge things that we definitely need to encourage. Leaders should always have a backup plan, a plan B. Yes, because you planned a big thing, you're going to have all these activities outside and it's going to be wonderful, and we're going to have a pavilion. Well, you get there and there's no pavilion, it's pouring down rain. Plan B. You got to have a plan B. Hey, before we go any further, I want to make sure that you know that you're invited to the campfire chat. This is a live meeting right here on this channel that we do every first Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. This is a great way to ask questions and not just me, but a lot of the guests that we have on the fireside chat. Definitely check that out. Also, I want to thank all of the Patreon for all of their support of this channel. In addition to that, we have our own membership right here on the channel. This is a fantastic way to get involved on this channel. Definitely hit the join button. It'll give you a bunch of information that'll tell you a little bit more about that process. So definitely get involved. We're going to just jump right on back. Building a leadership team should be a priority of every leader. Make sure that your primary leader, say the Scoutmaster, has a assistant Scoutmaster's team, that there's a team of them. There's lots of opportunities for that training, but that's an example. So the person who's in charge of, let's say, advancement, that person has an advancement team. Some specialize in electronics, some specialize in being able to translate the stuff from the book onto the computer. There's a lot of different things. So teams and building those teams is a critical skill of a good leader. Now, that good leader also empowers their assistants. They give them tasks and responsibilities to complete things. It's so important that they have that. It is important that you acknowledge that and be a part of that team and work together towards that goal. This is true for your senior patrol leader. It's true for your assistant scoutmasters. It is true for your committee. It is, there's so many positions. We need to have that empowered capabilities so that we can disperse. Nobody's a one-man show. Nobody. Of course, the only one is me. But that's neither here or there. I have a lot of people. I have thousands of people who watch videos. I want you to put a comment, and I'm asking for feedback. Okay, we need to work on that. Remember to focus on mentorships, coaching, not management. Management is when you give a bunch of tasks and you delegate and you communicate that out. You manage by checking in and seeing if they have issues and trying to resolve things. That's the management part. Mentoring is where it's at. We need to think about mentoring each other. So critical. Always remember to kind of mentor those young scout leaders towards advancing in their leadership. And when they do, like for instance, the senior patrol leader is the boss of the entire unit. This is something that I addressed in a video. And this is something that you need to be thinking about, is that as that youth progresses through leadership skills, they need to be further up. And there are a lot past the senior patrol leader. So that's the thing. You need to think about, as an adult leader, how you're going to mentor them for the next step. How you're moving them up from assistant patrol leader to a patrol leader to an assistant senior patrol leader to a patrol leader, and then maybe even on from there. So these are things that a adult leader needs to be thinking about. And always recognize the effort of what they're working on and what they're doing and what they're succeeding at. Not just results. You want to make sure that you are helping them grow also. You got to stay flexible and positive when you're a leader, because sometimes things don't go how you saw it. They see it in a different way, and it might be better, and this is something you have to do as an adult leader and a youth leader too. So you have to be flexible. Adapting, maybe the task that you've assigned that individual was beyond their capability, or they need help. So this might be something where you get a co-person to work in that, with that position. It varies. So you have to take it flexibility. You can't plan everything. And there's so many times that something happens. So you have to be thinking about, is this something that is needed? Is this something that is critical to the success of the unit? Is this just, good for the unit? That's the important thing. You need to put your resources towards that, and being flexible can help with that. Always remember that every failure is actually an opportunity to learn how to succeed. Think about that. That's big. And that's what leadership does, moving that forward. You may need more people to work on certain projects. You may need less. You may need less people. You may just too hectic for so many. This is a critical thing in leadership. Continuous improvements through training. think about National Youth Leadership Training. This is the Wood Badge for youth. Wood Badge for the adults. These are skills taught at these things that are so important. So constantly doing that is a critical leadership skill. Now, I do have some homework for you. I'm always asking for feedback, and I want you to write something in the comments about something you've learned recently that you didn't think about, or something new. That's something that I want in the comments. Just tell me about your latest success in leadership. That is wonderful. The inspiration of that feedback is tremendous. And we do so much for our scouts. And it goes unnoticed, but not here. We see those comments. I do. And others do too. So definitely, that's your homework. I need feedback of your latest leadership success or challenge. You could put a challenge in there. There's a lot of them out there. But as a leader, we can take those things on and succeed. And we can do that. And we do a lot for our scouts. Keep up that good, hard work. If you'd like more information about what we call the National Youth Leadership Training, check out the video. Until next time, I'll see you on the trail.